Okay, Apple's Magsafe Battery Pack. This is a wireless charging battery bank that sticks to the back of your phone. This allows you to have wireless charging wherever it is that you need to go. This isn't the only device that does this, but this is Apple's version of it. This battery pack turns on and off by itself, and you don't really have to worry about pressing a power button because there isn't one. This charges via lightning, and there's a light right next to the port that lets you know the charge level, or at least gives you a general idea, as it's orange if it's not fully charged, and it's green if it's fully charged. Don't worry, you can check the exact percentage of the battery pack by using the battery widget on your phone. For this battery pack, there's a smooth matte plastic texture, which will give it a good feel in the hand as you'll have it on the back of your phone for a decent amount of the time while it's charging. The quoted capacity for this battery pack is 1,460 milliamp hours. It's about the weight of 4 to 5 AA batteries. This is different than other battery banks, which are usually larger and connect via wired power. And for this battery pack in particular, it's pretty slim, so you won't super notice it while it's charging. It's not going to feel completely natural by any means, but you won't be strapping 15,000 milliamp hours of power onto the back of your phone. This is going to be really convenient for some, while for others, not having a full charge isn't going to be the best option. The battery pack really works its best on iPhone 12 models or iPhone 13 models or newer. The iPhone 12 series was the first one to have MagSafe introduced on the iPhone. This isn't to say that it won't work with non-MagSafe devices. You can still charge your AirPods, other wireless charging devices, and even older iPhones that support wireless charging. However, the only problem here is that aligning the charging coils can be pretty difficult. I would say that in optimal conditions, this battery pack works exactly how you would expect it to. But in other cases, I can feel like it starts to let you down. So let's get into the numbers a little bit. For the first run, these are the results. But hold on just 1 second. I realized after doing every single test, I still had the old firmware downloaded. I installed the new firmware for the battery pack. This firmware was supposed to lead to a large improvement in the battery. There were some people saying that it was going to charge faster. I was pretty skeptical given that there's a limited capacity for this battery. So how did it go? Well, after running all the tests again, I got slightly different results. Because the firmware was able to allow it to charge faster while also maintaining the same percentage. I'm thinking there was definitely some Apple magic involved with this. As running these tests once again on the new firmware, we were able to get from 20% to half charge in about 30 minutes, which still isn't the fastest, but it's pretty fast considering it's wireless charging. And this is all while maintaining that 60% jump in battery. Although I will say on the newer firmware, the battery pack and the phone definitely get a little bit warmer while doing this charging. I'm thinking that definitely has something to do with the fact that it charges a bit faster in the early stages. But what is it like when the conditions are not optimal? Well, this is where things get a little bit tricky because the battery pack might charge your phone in the early stages when your phone is under increased load, like FaceTime, shooting 4K video, playing games, or doing anything that is processor intensive. Once your phone starts to heat up a little bit and you get to like the 30-minute mark, the phone will say that it's receiving charge from the battery pack, but the percentage won't go up at all. In fact, your phone will die while charging even though the Magsafe battery pack is connected. But the battery pack in this case isn't actually putting out any more power, as the percentage stays the same during this period. You can even see this in the battery graph in the settings app. Sorry, this isn't the best picture, but you can see right here, there's a little space where the battery dips down even while it's charging. I think this is because the condition of the battery is prioritized over the actual speed of charging. So if the phone or the battery pack are getting really hot, in order to reduce the amount of degradation from this heat, I think it stops the charge. So what is the ideal scenario for this battery pack? Well, ideally you're in a mildly cool place, don't have to do a ton of heavy workload things on your phone, and you'll get a decent boost in battery life depending on which phone model you have. But if you're like me and thought you'd be able to easily charge your phone with no wires while taking a 3D scan of the outdoors, you would be mistaken, because my battery was pretty much going to die if I didn't stop the scan even though the battery pack was connected. Now to move on to some of the smaller things that I noticed. There's actually a small noise when you're taking the battery pack off of your phone. It sounds a little bit weird, and I'm pretty sure that it's the MagSafe ring inside the battery pack, because on the inside, this MagSafe ring is not actually adhered to the device. And you might also be wondering how you get 60% charge from a battery pack that is rated at 1460 milliamp hours, because doing the math, 1460 over 3095 does not equal 60%. So how are you getting a 60% boost? Well, it turns out that this rating is for the higher wattage on the battery pack. So at 7.5 watts, you can expect about 1460 milliamp hours. But at 5 watts, you can expect more like 2200 milliamp hours, which comes out to about 60% of those standard iPhone models. Charging the phone and the pack at the same time isn't an issue, as long as you have a higher wattage adapter like 20 watts or even higher. At lower wattage, the pack will try to charge your phone first, and then that lower wattage will go towards the battery pack. So to charge your phone and the pack fully, you're looking at a pretty long charge time. The price of this battery pack was originally $100, which is pretty expensive considering you don't even get a full charge out of this battery pack. Nowadays, on sale, you can find it closer to $80, but that's still pretty expensive considering the other battery packs that are out there, and the fact that the use cases for this battery pack are relatively limited. I would say that this battery pack is pretty nice overall, but whether or not you're going to be able to get the optimal usage out of it kind of depends on what your day-to-day looks like. But I would say for a lot of people, the amount of charge that you get here just isn't going to be enough, as you can only get 60% in optimal conditions. And if you're doing something that's more processor intensive, your phone's just gonna die even though you have a charged battery pack with you. So I would say that this is really just a modest boost while not having to carry a larger battery around. So my recommendation is really gonna depend on your circumstance. If you're on the go in a cool environment and you're just kind of scrolling through social media or doing something that doesn't require a lot of processing power, this will probably be good for you, as that 60% should definitely help you get through the day. But if you're going out for longer periods of time and you're going to be using a lot more power on your phone, I would definitely recommend staying with a wired battery bank, because you're going to be able to get many more charges out of it, and it's definitely more reliable because you can charge with those in almost any condition. Do you have a scenario that you think you might want to use this for? Leave me a comment and I'll let you know if I've tried it. Well, now that you know about the battery pack, what kind of devices can you use it for? Check out this video to learn more about the device that I use to test this battery pack.